That? Yeah. No Smithfield Town Council meeting, May 5th, 2025. Madam Clerk, will you start us with the prayer and pledge, please?
Thank you for bringing us together today in a spirit of generosity. May we honor one another by keeping an open mind. May we voice our truth and listen with an open heart. May we discern your will to unite in a fruitful outcome. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Beauregard? Here. Mr. DeCristofaro?
Here.
Mrs. O'Hara?
Here.
Mr. Punchak?
Here.
Ms. Alves?
Here. Open forum pursuant to 42-46-6D, maximum of 3 minutes per person. Does anyone else want to sign up for open forum? Anyone else? Paulette?
Good evening. Paulette Hamilton, 437 Black Plain Road. It's great to see you all again. Thank you for everything you're doing. And the only reason I'm here is just to give you a little kudos first for continuing the work on the police station, and to ask you to expedite as quickly as possible and to keep it going, given the tariffs and things that are going to affect the cost of the the overall project. A project that we had at like a couple of $1 million could turn out to be significantly higher if we don't hurry up. So just asking you to keep that in the, in your crosshairs and make sure that we get this done as quickly as possible. And thanks again for everything you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Just an update. I mean, that's going to be later on in the meeting, but we will have the new project managers. They'll be here next meeting just to introduce themselves and kind of go over the whole timeline and
Oh,
stuff.
great. Okay, terrific.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mike Clifford?
Mike Clifford, 487 Black Plain Road. I just want to go over quickly the presentation of the auditor from the last meeting. I don't know if you people were hearing what she was saying, but just for the heck of it, I listened to it a second time when I got home that night. The next day, I listened to the presentation. And I don't know how many times it was that she referred to having a performance audit done, and that's the only way you're going to be able to tell. And it was, if she didn't know the answer to something, you'd only know that through a performance audit. And I've been begging this council to three councils to have a performance audit done for years now, of the tax department and business office, the finance department. And I think you're only going to, you're not doing yourself justice by just, ignoring that. And if you don't think she mentioned it several times, then I urge you to listen to when she said it and what she was referring to, that you'd find out. And I think it's long overdue. And we don't need to, we've had trouble with abatements for a big, number of years going back. We've all experienced it, the ones who've been on the council a long time. We've had problems with the fund balances in the past. We've had trouble with the detail account in the past. All those things that are, they're still reoccurring. And the only way you're going to get it solved, and the easiest way to get it solved, is to have a performance audit done and have an accounting firm come in and make sure that we're following the processes. It's not to audit the books, it's to make sure that we're following the right processes and procedures. I don't believe we are. Thank you.
May I ask a follow-up question, not necessarily of Mike, but of the town administrator? Am I able to do that? I also, Mike, recalled her mentioning a performance audit on a few occasions during the presentation. Is that something that we could seriously explore?
I have no problems with it, and my staff has no problems with it, as long as the town council wants to appropriate the money to do it.
Right.
I mean, we've had audits for, like, school department for a lot of money that found nothing. So we have nothing to hide.
No,
And
no,
we
I
could
don't
only
think
get-
we have anything to hide.
We
I
could
just-
always get better, but the monies have to be appropriated for that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think that you have anything to hide. I just know that she had mentioned some of her observations. She mentioned the capital asset account and how there's some opportunity there. I think we've just heard it a few times, so I didn't know if that was something that we
Yeah,
had
I mean,
seriously discussed.
the administration has been talking about the capital asset account to nauseam. It bothers the heck out of us. We
Yeah.
don't like it. That's a separate and distinct issue than what Mr. Clipper's responding to, but
Right,
we're totally open with it as long as the money's there for it.
okay.
Could the council at least put it on the agenda for one meeting for you people to discuss as a group as to whether you'd like to have it done or not? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Kerry? Sorry, Kerry Roy?
Hi, Mrs. O'Hara. I love you. And my children love you too. Hi, my name is Kerry Roy. I'm from 911 Iron Mine Hill Road. I'm here to discuss, I believe I sent you all an email last week, whether you read it or I don't know. But I wanted to discuss about what used to be Leo's Auto Parts, which used to be my grandfather's junkyard, and now the junkyard, the owner, Edward. It's a complete mess back there. It's horrible. He's got sofas back there, mattresses. He's staying open till 9 o'clock at night. Just Saturday, he was open till 7. He's only supposed to be open till 2. We don't know where he's putting all the oils or all the liquids. There's no trucks going in to take it, no trucks going out. People are defecating on my property. He doesn't have a fence up. There are people that are coming in on random days, on Saturdays, and usually the 1st or the 15th, and they're unloading their vehicles of like large bags of rice and ramen noodles and other things that I'm not sure of, boxes of things that aren't auto parts or cars or anything that has to do with automobiles. So it's become quite a nuisance. I've lived on the side of the junkyard my whole entire life, obviously 44 years. I've never complained ever once about anybody who has previously owned it or anyone who's previously been there when my grandfather, retired and sold it off. This has been the first time in all these years that I have just, it's like a third world country back there. I mean, it's like gone wild back there. It's disgusting. He's got tires. He's got 3 buildings back there you can't get to. It's piled with junk. It's piled with tires. There's lots of cars piled, like 3-4 cars high. He's got cars all over our property. He's encroaching on our property in 3 or 4 spots currently. So I was wondering if there was something that we could all do to maybe help with this situation and help my family. My mom and dad are here. My dad, his father was Leo, so he's lived there his whole entire life, actually. So is there something that we can all do to make sure that this is cleaned up? If you look at Pound Hill and North Smithfield Auto Salvage, he's got like rows, they're so neat. He's got a fence around the whole property. Like literally, I can't even walk on the side of my property without human feces, toilet paper, cars encroaching on it, junk everywhere. So I'm wondering, like, is there an issue or some part that we can all fix this, and what can we do about this?
Mr. Administrator, can we have a conversation about this and see where we're going to go with it?
They have been cited.
Okay,
They were cited last week
okay,
on multiple violations of the zoning ordinance. They have 10 days to rectify, or else they are subject to fines.
okay.
So they have been cited.
Okay, so all issues, would be all right, and
Yeah, we've cited them on 3 specific issues as it relates to the zoning ordinance: expansion of what the original were allowed there, expansion of a non-conforming use, not being fenced in, all those issues, storage of items that weren't supposed to be stored there. So all those issues were identified in a citation to the owners of the property.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, so all of them are?
Yes, yeah, and if you want an update at any point, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call Leo Cody, the zoning officer, or you can call me directly.
Okay,
Okay?
all right, thank you very much. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Excuse me,
Thank you. Yes.
have you reached out to DEM at all?
I have reached out to DEM, I've reached out to the Rhode Island Business Regulation, we've reached out to the fire marshal, because in back there is not even a pathway from halfway through the junkyard up towards where he's got cars on my property. So there's not even a pathway the second half, and we've got dry brush back there, besides all the other junk that he's got on there that could easily go up in flames. So I've taken videos and pictures, and I've sent you guys, I think in emails, videos and pictures of whatever I could get. And even as of Sunday, I took a video walking along the whole entire 5 acres of property, and he's done absolutely nothing thus far. So I'm not sure. He comes in, you know, whenever he wants. He leaves, like I said, every day this week he's left like 2 hours, 3 hours later than he should. Saturday, 5 hours later than he should. I'm not sure what they're doing up there in the dark or why they have random people coming or, so I have gotten in touch with a lot of people. The business regulations said, Rhode Island business regulations said that it was on the, our building inspector to do something about that. They would probably take care a little bit of the encroachment, but not really much of that. But they said pretty much the town's regulations and zoning comes first before they will step in, because we have him licensed first, and that would be our duty to do so. And DEM, we have called. We've not heard anything back. I know that they did go check out a driveway when he first started putting it in, but I've not seen them check out anything else. And I'm pretty privy on everything that goes on, so on there. So I don't know if they have just not come down or not. I've sent them pictures and videos as well, so, of everything that's going on, but that's about all the information I have.
I'm just looking, I didn't get the email. Could you resend that to me? I never received it.
Yeah, absolutely. I went by online what your email address would be for Rhode Island, so I can see if I can resend it to you.
Mr. Administrator, when is the
I can just have
10-day
somebody forward
period?
it to me. How's that? You don't have to bother. All right?
Sorry.
Okay.
They were cited last week, but I don't know what the ticking date is, but I'll let you know. I'll let the whole council know.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And Town Administrator, in addition to some of the concerns and issues that they've experienced over there, it sounds like the zoning official is the most appropriate person for the majority. But given, you know, the issue of the people defecating on our property, who is the most appropriate person to call about concerns of that nature?
At this point in time, I would prefer that all the, you know, actions be concentrated through the zoning officer.
Okay.
If we feel that there's a need, we have reached out to the police department. Police department has made us aware of complaints, after-hour complaints up there. So we have raised the issue with the police department as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Can you go to the podium? Excuse me, sir, can you go to the podium with your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to ask, how long has he had any of his own things on your property?
He has had them on my property since pretty much like maybe, some of it was there, we allowed the last owner to use it. And then he was using our front entrance, and he made a whole pile of junk out of it, and he wasn't listening to us, because we usually let them use the entrance, because my grandfather had it like that, so it would leave trucks off the road who were loading, it
Yeah.
would cause traffic and customers, so.
Well, my point is that I was affiliated with a church in Smithfield that, in which the neighbors encroached on their property, and at 10 years, it was theirs. And we spent a fortune trying to fight that.
Yeah.
So if it reaches 10 years, and town needs to be notified that that's a very critical point, that if he has material on your property, he can take your property.
Yeah.
The state of Rhode Island will protect him.
I believe, and we could always check this, number one, it's important for all property owners to reinforce their rights. So, for example, for my house, the neighbor put the fence a little bit off their property line, which that's great, that shows good neighbors, but he always mowed on one side of the fence every year to prove that he's aware. So the rules of adverse possession in Rhode Island are a lot longer than 10 years. But with that being said, you still need to exercise your rights as a property owner. I'm not a lawyer. I've got one sitting right next to me, and he's put his head down, which means don't bring me into this right now. But yeah, always, you know, always enforce your property rights and your property borders, always.
Yeah, we have stakes up, and we've had a lawyer get involved, and we've sent him 3 certified letters, and he's not responded back to our lawyer or us. And, you know, it's money because we also had to buy a fence to block off the entrance that he was, you know, ruining, and get all this stuff. It's becoming very costly. So right now, we're just trying to see what we can do to have him, like, you know, what the town can do to help us out first, you know, and then later on go.
I personally drove up there 2 weeks ago, and although it is a junkyard and junkyards are never pretty, it is particularly awful.
It is awful.
And I was
the worst I've ever seen in my
disgusted by
life.
what I saw, so I understand your frustration.
Thank you very much, thank you. And thank you all for listening to me, unless anybody else has any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Old business, discussion by council vote or other action on status/progress of report items, Municipal Building Review Task Force. So we had a meeting or a conversation last week with the new project manager, along with Signal Works, the administrator, and the new project manager will be coming next council meeting to introduce themselves and kind of go over the next steps. So that will be on the next meeting. And then the next one is payment to Signal Works. So everyone has an invoice in their packet. Invoice number 2415-109. It's in the amount of $8,908.75. Would someone like to make a motion to pay this invoice to Signal Works?
I'll make a motion to approve invoice number 2415-109 dated April 16th, 2025 in the amount of $8,908.75.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christoparo.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
Before we move on, can I ask one question about
Mm-hmm.
that? So just one quick question, follow-up on the OPM contract. I saw that you agreed to their form. Have they sent the draft in yet?
No, they have not.
Is that it?
Mhm.
The following in the red boxed area has been tabled to the date certain of June 2nd, which is B, discussion by council vote or other action on petition/application for an amendment to the zoning ordinance pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 45-24-50 and 45-24-51, 45-24-53 as follows. Petition/application for amendment to zoning ordinance filed by Pound Hill Realty LLC, 618 Greenville Road, Smithfield, Rhode Island, 02896. The owner of the parcel of land situated off Old Oxford Road, Pound Hill Road, and Pine Hill Road in the town of Smithfield, more particularly described as Town of Smithfield Tax Assessors Plat 7, Lot 38, consisting of 89.44 acres, which is the subject property, and text amendment in a zoning map amendment to the zoning ordinance of the town of Smithfield. The zoning ordinance proposed zoning amendment will create a new zoning district, Industrial Special Management District 1 overlay. The intent of the district is to allow mining, quarrying, sand and gravel extraction, loom stripping, stone cutting operations, crushing, washing, and/or processing of materials. The zoning map amendment proposes to amend the zoning designation of the parcel of land located at 14 Pine Hill Road in the town of Smithfield, more specifically described as Assessors Plat 7, Lot 38, the property from Rural Agriculture RA and Rural Estate Agriculture REA to Industrial Special Management District 1 overlay, and also the continuation of the public hearing and discussion by council vote or other action. That will all be on June 2nd's agenda. The next one, discussion by council vote or other action on boards and committees code of conduct. Mr. DeCristofaro.
Thank you, Town President. So I didn't intend for this to be a discussion unless we feel as though we want to discuss it more. When I submitted this agenda item, it was merely an update. So I'll provide an update, and then if you feel as though it requires more discussion, we can definitely do that. So I worked with our town solicitor to essentially come up with a draft of a code of conduct. I provided a few samples of some other towns that I felt had a code of conduct that really captured, my initial intent. He provided a draft version. I shared that with town council president as well as our town administrator. Our town administrator also connected with the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns. They provided him with some examples too. One of the codes I felt captured some verbiage that wasn't included in the initial code of conduct. So what I would essentially like to do, town solicitor, is just go through that code of conduct that the town administrator provided and see if maybe there are some excerpts that we could pull in if you feel as though it's appropriate or not. And then I would like to have a draft version for review for the next town council meeting. That was a whole lot. Any questions?
I just have a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
I went back and I watched the videos from the last meeting when we were discussing this subject, and it seemed to me that it was more of a personal nature. All right, that the reason for this ordinance isn't because we have issues going on with planning board members running amok, but it seems like we are putting together this ordinance, this resolution, because you were personally offended by a comment that was made, and I don't think that's a very good reason to propose a resolution, an ordinance, or anything. We're not here to settle scores. We're here to do the business of the people. And I don't think that because you were upset about somebody saying something to you is a valid reason to go forward with a resolution that's actually going to be a violation of people's First Amendment rights.
Are you done? Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate your opinion. I don't think it's a secret that our elected officials as well as appointed members have been rude or have really entertained dialogue, whether it's on social media or whether it's face-to-face, that's not appropriate from a professional perspective if you're representing the town. I've witnessed this since I joined the town. It became more apparent the more I became involved in the town, especially over the course of campaigning, the types of language that we would use to discuss town issues, the types of language that officials or, again, appointed individuals would use to undermine residents' concerns. I mean, I've seen it very clearly where people on social media are expressing concerns about zoning issues, and appointed members of the zoning board are undermining their concerns. I have never appreciated it, but when I'm on the receiving end of obscenities, then it really draws a line in the sand and says that this is something that we need to address. So if anything, it further inspired me to bring this to the town council as a means to reestablish professionalism in this town, establish a code of conduct that delineates standards and guidelines. I don't think there's a downside to establishing a code of conduct for our appointed officials and elected officials rather, and appointed members. We wouldn't be the only town that has this. The town of Smithfield has it, right? The surrounding town of Barville is entertaining it right now. There are towns and cities all across Massachusetts that have this. So in your mind, are they violating the Second Amendment?
No, First Amendment.
First Amendment, are they violating it?
Yeah.
So you believe that all of these towns and cities that have a code of conduct are violating the First Amendment? Do you think that legally they would be able to have a First Amendment if they were violating a code of conduct, if they were violating the First Amendment?
I believe that whenever you interfere with somebody's free speech, you are violating their civil rights.
I would ask, John, that you wait until we have a draft of the code of conduct, and then at that point you determine if you really truly feel it's a violation of the First Amendment.
Even if it's not going to have any teeth to it, even if it's just a censure could be a public
It's not
humiliation.
censorship.
Censure. In other words, it's a difference. So, in other words, even if it's not going to have any teeth to it, like you're not going to be able to throw somebody off a committee as a result of it, you're probably going to be some teeth to it, like a censure from the council. And that would be a public humiliation, in which case you'd be interfering with their right to free speech.
All right, can we kind of wait until you have the draft?
Absolutely.
Because the draft that we did see, it was really just a respect issue.
Yep.
Because no matter, if someone wants to say something about any of us, I mean, everyone out there has all their little, aliases out there behind the keyboard. So we're not gonna be able to stop everyone. No, but some, but then it also had a respect issue for employees, right? So
Right.
no one on a council or board can go to someone's department and start talking negative about that director or about any employee in the town. So, yes, it probably would be a good thing because some of that stuff is happening. So it would just at least put some sort of ground rules of what a board member or committee member, what they're expected to uphold when they're on these committees and that they're appointed. We appoint them in good will that they're gonna do the right thing and not be going and, to departments or to any of us and start bad-mouthing us. I mean, we should all be working together. This town is not that big. We all have the same end line, I think. We just gotta make sure we work together. And the ones that we saw, I mean, I thought they were in good taste. It was just basically a respect issue, and I don't think that's a lot to ask of someone who's serving on a committee.
As long as there's no teeth to it and the code of conduct is more of a suggestion, then with no penalty for violating that code of conduct, then I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I think at the end of the day, and I mentioned this when we met 2 weeks ago, I'll be fair and I'll say maybe people don't know how to act as elected or appointed officials and individuals. If anything, I feel a code of conduct that they essentially read and agree to may influence them to behave differently. That is my hope, and dissuade them from being disrespectful and unprofessional and essentially reflecting the town in a negative light.
The way to fight hate speech is with free speech, not censorship.
It's not censorship, it's called respect, John.
Okay. Can we move on this one? When
Yep.
we have your draft, we can go into more detail. Discussion by council vote or other action on payment of bills. Anyone have any questions on the packet they received? No?
The only question that I have, it's not on this week's packet, Tony. When we met 2 weeks ago, we had approved the payment of bills. I forget what the exact amount was. The $11,000 for the crime and crash scene mapping was included in that payment of bills. We determined that we were not going to move forward with that, so I wanted to ensure that that was reflected appropriately.
Yeah, well, probably should have went back and amended the vote, but we haven't proceeded with that purchase at all, but we probably should have went back in hindsight.
I just want to
should have
ensure
went
that,
back.
and maybe that's something that we need to do in the minutes, is
Yeah,
just amend
yeah.
that, it's 11,000 less than. the
I had
payment
thought
that
about
we-
that when I was driving home that night, and I was like, should have went in that, but, yeah, we haven't proceeded with that purchase at all.
Okay, no, I assumed that, I just wanted to ensure that it was captured accurately.
Do you want to put that on a future agenda just to have it in
Yeah.
the minutes?
Certainly, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions on the packet? Anyone want to make a motion to approve the payment of bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of bills for May 5th, 2025, in the amount of $570,000, $570,931.80.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad. Yes. Mr. Cristofaro.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. New business, discussion by council vote or other action on adoption of the 2025 North Smithfield Hazard Mitigation and Flood Management Plan. Ms. Moneghan.
The hazard mitigation plan is complete and has been approved by FEMA and REMA. The original hazard mitigation plan is created to protect the public health and safety and limit the loss of lives and properties and resources. It's updated every 5 years, so the last update was in 2019, and it's reviewed both by REMA and FEMA. It's an iterative process. They make changes, we send it back, they make changes again. So we've gone through the procedure. We were awarded a grant in 2023 from REMA for $45,100, and with a $4,500 match, which is going to be in-kind services of mine and other people that participated in the project. To date, we've spent about $26,600 on the consultant. One of the reasons that we do this hazard mitigation plan is that we're required to have a FEMA-approved plan before we can receive any post-disaster funds from FEMA or REMA. So that's one of the main reasons to do this. So we went through the process and we hired a consultant from VHB, and they came in and they followed a process. First, they created a hazard mitigation committee, which was made up of departments such as planning, building inspection, DPW. We had the police, fire, EMA, and we met every month for 9 months. And we talked about all of the possible hazards that we could encounter in North Smithfield. And we also used the 2019 plan also. So things like nor'easters, hurricanes, flooding. We also did a survey of 118 residents to get their response. So we had these meetings and we updated all the mitigation actions. We developed the priorities, developed timelines and costs. And now we're going to the council so that we can get the resolution signed and send that into FEMA so that this is approved totally. The hazard mitigation plan is kind of lengthy. It includes all 14 different hazards, and within each hazard, it gives a description, location, impact and damage extents that are expected, the history of the area, a lot of really good information in there. There's also like a risk assessment, so they did a fiscal impact analysis, a population impact analysis, and developed a list of critical infrastructure and community assets and actions and new actions that will be needed to protect those. This is going to be an ongoing process. It is suggested that we meet twice a year and go through this, make sure that we are following up on some of the actions that we've identified. And we're also making sure that the hazard mitigation plan is included in documents like the comp plan, site plan review, things like that, so that we're not missing that side of things. Vulnerable areas are being identified so that it's all inclusive. So I've given you a resolution for the approval of this plan, or to adopt the plan as town. And that will go back to FEMA, and we should be all set.
So Bobby, have we already received this grant, or is it once we submit this?
This is the type of grant where you have to wait until you've had approval from FEMA, from the town.
Okay.
And then it will go, and it'll be.
And then the 26,000 that we've spent will be reimbursed?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions for Bobby?
Just for a point of clarification, not that it's fully bearing on this, but I have read the plan, copy to copy, cover to cover. It still didn't solve my sleeping problem. But as it was well done, I wanted to recognize Bobby for really hard and good work on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.
Has anyone?
Bobby, it's not unusual for me to start going through my packet like Monday afternoon.
Yeah.
When I saw this, I was regretting waiting till Monday afternoon to go through everything, but great job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it did help with my sleep when I read it. Anyway, Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions? Anyone want to make a motion to approve the resolution?
I will make a motion to approve, or to adopt rather, the 2025 North Smithfield Hazard Mitigation and Flood Management Plan.
Second?
That's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Thank you, Bobby. Discussion by council vote or other action on request for FY 26-27 municipal agreement with Rhode Island Resource Recovery. Mr. Pendergast.
Good evening, Ray Pendergast, Director of Public Works. You should have in front of you a copy of the FY 26-27 municipal agreement with Rhode Island Resource Recovery. It's the standard contract that's signed every 2 years. One of the highlights in it is there is no increase in disposal fees for trash. It's still staying at $63 a ton. Over the cap is $115. There's really not much we can do with this contract. It's state law. Solicitor has, we've spoken about this. We actually really gave it a lot of thought 2 years ago, but it's really a standard contract that Resource Recovery sends to every municipality. So I'm looking for approval of this contract and also for the town administrator to sign.
Anyone have any questions? Motion to approve, anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve the 26-27 municipal agreement with Rhode Island Resource Recovery and have the town administrator sign it.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Discussion by council vote or other action on agreement for North Smithfield annual fireworks display. Mr. Pendergast.
Should also have a copy of the contract with Central Maine Pyrotechnics for the annual fireworks display, which will take place July 12th of 2025. The amount is $16,500, and that will be appropriated out of the next FY budget under Parks and Recreation.
Is this the same amount that we've paid in the past?
I think it went up 500. I don't have the last number with me. It went up a little bit.
In 2017, it was $10,000.
And this is piggybacking off the city of Warwick's bid. So Warwick has more fireworks than we have. They have them for every event that's possible, I think. So this is actually a good price from somebody who's a larger city that has multiple fireworks displays.
I was gonna ask that, why is all the attachments Warwick? I do still have a question, so, and maybe fireworks don't work this way, but I gotta ask anyway. So, $16,500, City of Warwick is paying for a July 3rd fireworks display. Pretty common for, a celebration of Independence Day. $16,500 the town of North Smithfield is paying 8 days later for the same display.
I'm sure there's a-
Shouldn't they, seems to me, could get a little bit of a discount, seeing it's over a week after the 4th of July, no?
Was that the price for their July
Their
3rd
July
price?
3rd, Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, $16,500. If they get rained out, it's $16,500 on the 5th, and ours on the 12th is $16,500.
I think if you go just a little further in, I'm not sure about, I can't find the July 3rd one that you're referring to, but the 16.5 is for their New Year's Eve display.
I saw that too.
So is the July 3rd the same price?
Yeah,
Because
Tuesday,
they-
December 31st, 2025, $16,500. Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, $16,500. Saturday, July 5th,
Yeah.
if needed.
Then they got a couple in there for 9,500 and so on and so forth. But
Seems to me, maybe we should fall somewhere in between the 9,500 and 16,500. Just saying.
I'm just working off a piggyback bid.
Well, you know, you're not wrong. Years ago, when this first started, the reason why we had the fireworks after the 4th of July was because it was cheaper than doing it on or before, a couple of days before. And we saved, I don't know about a lot of money, but we saved some money by doing it after.
I don't think it's ever been that low. I think it was like 14,000,
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy lower, but it was lower.
not by much.
Yeah, we were raising the money.
Unfortunately, we have to abide by state law, and I have to go by bids, and we have to go by piggyback bids. So Lincoln's done it for the last couple of years. Warwick now has taken it. They're a larger city, so we're getting a decent display for $16,500.
This is the same one that did it last year?
Yes. It was a very good display last year.
They did a nice job.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Anyone have any other questions? Anyone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for Central Maine Pyrotechnics for the July 12th, 2025 fireworks in the amount of $16,500, which is a piggybacking the City of Warwick's price list.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Do you need him to sign it?
Yes.
And also to authorize the town administrator to sign.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion by council vote or other action on award of bid for North Smithfield Fire and Rescue replacement of server infrastructure. Chief Chaudier.
Good evening, council members. Back in September of 2024, North Smithfield Fire and Rescue applied for a grant through the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency for cybersecurity. We were awarded that grant, and then probably about a month in, FEMA and REMA put the brakes on. So back in January, we were given the go-ahead to go ahead and move forward with everything. And in compliance with the state's purchasing regulations, we went out to bid and for the server and the software. And Apex Technology Group was the only one who submitted a proposal for $41,523.56. This is a 100% reimbursable grant. So once the work is done, I'll just submit for reimbursement, and then the town will get reimbursed the funds that they put up front.
Anyone have any questions for the chief?
I do. I put a lot of things, contracts, purchases out to bid. And when I get one bid, I always say, what did I do wrong? Why? Is this like an overly complicated project, and that's
No.
why only one bid?
Now, we
was
had a
received?
lot of interest. I think Tony can attest to that. We had several people who inquired about it and wanted the specifics on it. I don't know if it just wasn't a big enough project for them or what the story was, but I would say there was probably 8 or 10.
Yeah,
Did
the
you
problem,
get any
I think the
feedback?
problem, I'm not an IT expert, but the problem is, when you're coming in to do a server upgrade and there's already an existing IT company managing that, it increases the price. So if you're an IT company coming in to bid and you know that the company that's already managing their IT is also going to bid, you know that you're gonna be undercut quite a bit.
These
So I
people
think
are
that's
already
probably
working?
what happened for the other
I'm sorry.
bidders.
These people are already doing.
Yes, they handle our IT stuff, yes.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Understood.
For
That
the
makes more
fire
sense.
and the
Okay.
police, yeah.
Mhm.
So they already know they're gonna undercut us quite a bit, so there's no point in bidding. I'm assuming.
No, you're spot on.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Anyone else have any more questions? Anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for the server replacement for the fire department. And are you signing this?
No, the
Town
administrator needs to
And
sign.
to have the town administrator sign this agreement.
That's a motion. Is there a second? Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Discussion by council vote or other action on North Smithfield Fire Department internal transfer for FY 24-25. Chief Chaudier?
Yes, we're just requesting a transfer from our vehicle maintenance account of $8,000, from the fuel account into our vehicle maintenance account. We are at or pretty close to zero in that right now. We've had some pretty significant repairs throughout this last fiscal year, so I just don't want to ride out the last 2 months with a zero balance, so I just like to move that. We're comfortable with the calculations that we did on fuel. We're comfortable moving that amount of money.
Okay. Do you know what this leaves your fuel line at once you take out the 8,000?
Oh, geez, the deputy took, I don't know what the
Okay.
exact
Do
number
you know?
will be.
Sorry, repeat that again?
Well, you don't know, the amount that's left in the fuel line, would you know that?
I can look it up. You just, if you give me a couple minutes, yeah.
Are you asking once we take the 8,000 out?
8,820.
Okay. All right, never mind.
Sound right?
We're good.
I can, okay. Well, there you
All
go.
right, anyone have any other questions? Anyone want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the transfer of funds from the fuel account to the maintenance account for the North Smithfield Fire and Rescue. I'm sorry, oh, and the amount of 8,000, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
That's at 8,000.
$8,000.
straight.
That's a motion. Is there a second? There's a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara. Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, while you're here, I want to compliment your staff. This last couple of years, inadvertently, at times, and when I had heart attack, I drove myself, and when the doctor heard about it, he gave me my instructions. Call you, your staff. I thought I'd just go for now and come back into 4 days, but they were very, especially when you had some of the students, you know, oh, God. They were very professional, a calming force within them,
Sure.
and an assuring force. You have a great group, and they're very professional, and from someone who's experienced it, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll certainly pass that on. We appreciate
Please.
hearing that.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chief.
All right.
Discussion by council vote or other action on appointments to town boards and commissions. Conservation Committee, completion of 2 terms ending 11/30/2026. You do have an application in your packet. Joanne, did this person just resign
Yeah.
from,
I thought we saw his name recently.
did this person just resign from our committee?
Yes.
Was it asset
They-
management?
yeah.
Okay, I think so. This one.
Are you referring to Mr. Woke? Yeah, he did resign from the Asset Management Committee.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we don't have any feedback as to why he resigned from one and wants this one? I mean, is it a time restriction or? Okay. Anyone like to make a motion or have any other nominations?
I'll nominate Mr. Joshua Wolk to the Conservation Commission.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'm just wondering if we can get some feedback as to why there was a resignation last week and then applying to a new just to a new committee, just,
I'll ask Mr. Nordstrom as it relates to why the resignation from the Asset Management
yeah,
Committee.
okay. I'm just wondering if it's a time, restraint, or because, if he doesn't have the time to put into the committee.
So I just found an email from him. He just stated that he wanted to resign due to his limited ability to contribute to the mission.
So-
It's probably because the asset management commission is ramping up with a lot of projects. Probably knows that he's not gonna be able to contribute to all the projects that they're doing now. And I don't know if Conservation Commission has as many projects going on. So I think it's what you had said, the amount he can contribute.
And to speculate, I would think also it's a more detailed, complicated subject.
Mr. Woke's not here today, right?
No, he's not.
Okay.
And I would think maybe that made him uncomfortable. I don't know, but I will certainly ask. I know Joshua pretty well. I could reach out to him, talk to him.
Okay.
Maybe this is just a better fit for him.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Biergard?
Yes.
Ms. DeCristofaro?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara?
Yes.
Mr. Punchak?
Yes.
Ms. Alves?
No. Discussion by council vote or other action on communication from town administrator. The first one is the asset management.
Yes, we are going to organize a meeting with the Asset Management Committee and internal staff to talk about the what's next, what's the ask going to be to the town council. So I'm hoping that we're going to be in a position, probably not the next council meeting, but the first council meeting in June, to come back with a specific recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Grants?
I didn't provide the summary table. We finalized all the documentation on the $4 million congressional appropriation grant through HUD. That may have been uploaded today to the federal portal. I'll double check tomorrow with Bobby. We're now working on the full documentation on the $1 million grant. That should go fairly quickly. We're trying to finalize the HUD CDBG grant as it relates to Hollowell. There's a technical issue. The technical issue is that they don't want their money used for new construction. I've advised G&G, I don't care. Submit it anyways, and just see what happens. But he's been reluctant to do that, given that they don't want to fund new construction projects, but I think we still need to do it. Also, the state, through their open space bond, has notified us that they are going to be opening up the application process. I've reached out to the leadership in the Conservation Commission as well as the Land Trust, and I've asked for a meeting. We're going to be meeting next week just to talk about what potential projects can we target as part of the open space grant. That's not a 100% grant. It's a grant up to $500,000. But we're going to try to get our act together on that so that we be prepared. I think the grant application is in July of this year.
And this will be the request we had for narrowing down any of the open space projects that we, as a town, would
That's
want.
correct. And as I mentioned to the council before, I'm a little bit bothered by the fact that we don't have a real clear methodology that we use to identify and measure and evaluate various open space opportunities. I think we need to do that. I don't think it just should be well, I like this parcel, so let's buy this. I think this is our best bang for the buck. We're going to have to match these monies. We do have the outstanding open space bond that this town approved. We can pull from that, but we'll come back to the council. Probably, if we're going to be site-specific, we'll have to ask an executive session and talk about possible acquisitions to get some guidance from you. But I still want to come to you with a methodology and recommendations from the Land Trust and the Conservation Commission.
I think I have a few questions on grants. The RFQ for a new grant writer?
Yes, we're interviewing. We got 6 responses. We've evaluated those responses. We are meeting tomorrow through online with the 3 highest applicants to get feedback on it, and then circle back with the council with a recommendation. It's the council's decision.
Okay, thank you. In the event that we cannot use that CDBG grant money towards Hallowell,
Yep.
this is a two-pronged question. Are there other grants that we could pursue for Hallowell?
We're constantly searching.
Okay.
It's a priority. It's the #1 priority that we have. It's just got to match.
Right.
The problem that we have with CDBG is that our low moderate income qualifier is not good. So the beauty of a senior center is that seniors by definition qualify as LMI. The problem is that we've been positioning this project as a multi-generational project.
Right.
And I fought a little bit with the state on this. That I understand that it's just some words. The bottom line is, this is going to be primarily a senior project. I think we got around that, but it's a new construction. But we are constantly searching for other grant opportunities for Hallowell. Yes.
Now, in the event that we cannot use the CDBG money towards Hallowell because it is new construction, could we continue to pursue the CDBG money and use it towards Scouters Hall?
No.
Why?
Doesn't qualify.
Why?
Because of the LMI issue.
But if that's a senior center?
It's not a senior center. There's a lot of youth that use that building. We can't dance that. You know, they blew us right out of the water early on. Sorry. You know, you just don't meet the federal requirements. And as it relates to the state, they have to comply with HUD requirements, and it's very strict. There has to be a minimum of a 51% low mod benefit, and the documentation on that is extreme. It's a real pain. If it's only seniors using the project, then it's easy. But that's not true for Scouters.
But that also wouldn't be true for Hallowell.
Well, it can be. Depends on how we position it, because it's being positioned as a multi-generational facility, but it's really the seniors that's driving this project. Does that mean sometime in the future the seniors in that program, they don't develop some programs and build bridges with the youth? Absolutely. But my position has been with the state, it's a senior center.
Okay.
Sometimes you just got to go with it.
Thank you for that update. And then we did talk briefly a few weeks ago about Pacheco Park.
Yes.
And potentially looking at that as more of a comprehensive project where we have Scouters, we have obviously the park, we have playground equipment. Like, there are definitely some enhancements that we could do over there.
Yep.
What do we have a status on?
Yes, it's more than Pacheco. The Department of Public Works has been able to reprogram some money. They had some additional money that was outstanding they could have used for another project. I've talked to the director, suggested that we use those monies to program them to do a comprehensive park and rec plan for this town.
Okay.
And he thinks it's a great idea. And I think that's what we're going to do. And so we would look at Pacheco, but if you look at the comp plan right now, the Parks and Recreation side it's very vague. It really doesn't say anything. So we really want to use that money to do a very comprehensive, detailed plan of where we are, what we want, and how we're going to get there. So we're in the process now of trying to tee that up. We'll obviously have to come back to the council for moving that money into this venue, and then obviously if we're going to go out to RFP, I would do that. I would do that only if the council feels that makes sense. So we are pursuing that.
Okay. And then my last question. And I don't know if this necessarily falls under grants, but we have spoken about it during the grants topic before. The TIF feasibility review?
Yes, that's going to be done by the end of May.
End of May.
Yep. They've basically completed all of the work. We had a conference call with them last week. They were very not upbeat about, but they said they were very impressed by the kind of comments they got from the public, as well as the ability of the administration to get them the information they need on a timely basis. And I totally credit Jen St. George on that, because a lot of it had to do with tax assessment issues. So with that being said, they said we will be completed by the end of May. We'll obviously digest that and come back to the council with a report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
question. So do we have to change the resolution for the HMBC now?
I'm not doing anything yet. I'm just trying to dance. That's all. I mean, it's a real stretch. It's a real stretch because according to G&G, they're very clear that they don't want to do the construction. And I only found that out last week. So we're trying to see how hard we can push that, but it doesn't look very favorable.
Well, basketball courts are still there, so it's your renovation.
Not LMI, though.
Sure.
Seniors don't play basketball. I know that's a stereotype, but
Definitely.
sorry. That goes to me as well.
Pickleball courts.
There you go.
No.
Don't bring that up. That was,
Oh,
that was.
don't get into that, subject, please.
Any other questions? Discussion by council vote or other action on charter review committee. Number 1, amendment to section 5 of the resolution of the town council establishing a charter review committee to extend the date that the charter review committee must complete its work as follows. Section 5, the CRC shall complete its work, prepare a final report setting forth the findings, recommendations, and any proposals for amendments to the charter, and deliver it to the town council no later than blank, and then the CRC will be terminated. With you being the liaison to the charter review, did you have a date that you were thinking? I know when Mr. Ogier was doing it, he was doing like a 6-month period. What are you thinking?
I think based on our conversation 2 weeks ago, we had said that there's essentially like a series of events that needs to take place. So our first step is to, and this is the update too, so this is B. I've connected with the charter review committee members. We aligned on a date in May. We got that scheduled today with Denise for May 29th at 6 p.m. Town Council Chambers, if everybody would like to join. And we're going to use that time, obviously, to meet for our first time, and then to align on some of the focus areas that we discussed at our last town council meeting, how we essentially want to prioritize those. And then we also discussed, given that this will require budget, because we'll need to work, we'll need E-code support in order to support that work, and then incorporate any updates appropriately based on our November 2026 ballot. My recommendation would be that our term date or a final date is December of 2026. So we want to be able to prepare the work, budget accordingly in June 2026, so that E-code could help us with the verbiage, and then get those questions ready for ballot for November 2026, and disassemble in December. But I'm getting a lot of faces, so I'm open to
So
suggestions.
you mean
Yeah.
December 2025 is your date? You said
No,
December.
December 2026.
So you
That's
probably
after
have
the
to do,
election, though.
you'd have to do like November 30th, right? Because,
That's
Yeah, after the election, that's what I'm saying, though,
Oh.
because we'll need to prepare the questions in order to put them on the ballot.
yeah, but the election
Uh-huh.
already happened.
The election happened.
Would you want the election to be, you want to put it on the 28th election or the 26th election?
Whichever one makes the most sense.
Well, 26 you've already passed.
The 20,
Because the election is in
if
the
you-
beginning of November.
hold on, sorry, okay. So ideally, when could we get these questions on the ballot?
There's a time frame
Okay,
with the Board of Elections
okay,
that usually is, the deadline is in August, prior to the election, and I don't know the exact date, but it's usually like, I don't want to give you the exact date, but it's definitely August of the year of the election. So if the election is in November of 26,
yep,
the Board of Elections, Secretary of State Division, requires the ballot questions for town referendums to be approved by their office in their hands by August, I want to say August X, let's say August 1st
2026.
of 26, if you
Okay.
want it on November 26th election.
Yeah, I
And
think.
that's consistent, I don't think that will change, we can confirm that, but that's pretty much the
Yeah.
timeframe.
So what my initial recommendation was to have it on the November 2026 ballot. Now, with that being said, it's probably something that I should socialize with the Charter Review Committee, I would also love their feedback as well. Go ahead.
Madam Clerk, Madam Counselor, I don't think I think you've been saying you wanted the date extended to December of 26. Did you mean December of 25?
No,
she
I
meant
meant
26.
2026.
Okay, then we're talking about this is going for the election of 28 unless there's a special election.
Why would it be in 28?
Because December of 26 is after the
Yeah,
November
but what I'm
26
saying
election.
is that we would terminate the Charter Review Committee once our work is done. So our work is going to be done theoretically in August. We're going to submit the questions. Those will go through the process. Then they will be on the ballot for November of 2026. And then my logic is that once they're on the ballot, we can terminate the committee.
That's fine.
Does
But-
that make-
I just.
Maybe I was the only one following. It sounds like Paul was.
That's fine, but
Okay.
understand that when the committee delivers that package to the council, probably in July, can't be,
It's done.
can't
It's
be
done.
August. I
Okay.
don't know what else they do.
maybe
But
just
that's up to you,
July
that's
31st.
fine, that's fine with, if the council wants to make it December of 26, that's fine, I just don't know what's going to happen between July 30th of 26 and November 26, if the questions are either on the ballot at that point or not.
I
That's fine. I just want-
personally, yeah, no, I think that's really helpful, and thank you for that insight. I personally don't see any harm in having the committee through December. I would love the opportunity to review the election results as a committee. I don't know if that's something that's realistic or,
Can you change this? Because this clearly says it's going to be delivered to the council and then the CRC is terminated. So, like, I would agree, if it should be delivered by July 30th, then, you know, the CRC is terminated
Yeah.
December 31st.
Yeah, there's no, you have to change the functions. The function of the CRC is not to analyze the election and their success or failure. It's to deliver proposals to the council. Some, as I pointed out to the council, some of which may not make it on the ballot.
right,
And we had this experience, I tried to explain to the council last time, where the CRC submitted like 50-something amendments or 24 amendments, and only 5 made it. So again, the date is fine, put any date you want, but I'm not so sure that once you finish your job, you're gonna be able to have meetings talking about elections, and I don't
Yeah.
think they're relevant to what your charge is,
Okay.
that's all I'm saying.
Could we meet as a charter review committee before before we finalize a date? Okay, I'd like their participation in the conversation as well. If that's.
So you want to table this
Let's-
until, what'd you say, the May
it's
29th?
May 29th, so let's use
So
the
you wanna do
first
June
meeting in June.
2nd?
Yeah, that works.
So you're going to table the item 1 to June 2nd?
And then essentially my update was that we corresponded in that our meeting date is May 29th, 6:45.
Okay. 6:45 or 6?
6:45.
Are we going to establish what their mission is?
I think we have a mission.
This is the reason why I'm a little concerned. If you want to revise the ordinance to give it a different mission, that's fine, but the mission is to deliver some questions to the council after you consult with the public and do your research and draft some code, present those potential questions to the council. That's the
All right, so
mission.
just so I'm clear, so the Charter Review Commission is going to suggest to us what they should be going
Well,
forward?
what updates we should make, changes we should make to the charter.
Okay,
So we'll come with a series of questions
all right.
that we feel would go on the ballot.
And not to be redundant, because I know Rebecca and I have had multiple conversations about this, I want to emphasize that the administration needs to meet with the commission.
Yep.
Only because it's one thing to sit on the outside and come up with ideas, it's another thing to be on the inside and understand where the real problems are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, may I suggest, with that being said, Madam President and Madam Vice President and councilors, that you consider either, for the next meeting, either adding some sort of administrative role as part of the process that's officially connected with the process, as opposed to just reporting and participating in meetings.
I'm not asking for an administrative role per se, I'm just asking for one to be heard, that's it. I think this process should be clean and transparent. And I don't think the administration should be sitting there with the possible accusations that it's being controlled or manipulated for one's own benefit. I just want to make sure that we're included.
Yes,
We don't want to be
absolutely.
lonely.
I was actually going to make a specific role just for you, Scott, so you have to join.
Thanks a lot.
every month. Thank you. You will definitely be included. The administration will be included. Thank you.
Is that? Yes. Okay. Discussion by council vote or other action on abatements. Ms. St. George.
President, can I just, before we go to that,
Yeah.
I just had a little whisper in my ear, and I wanted to remind the council again, with this particular commission, this is, again, a very important commission that the council always has got to consider staff support, you know, the minutes, the posting of the meetings, and then, again, it's either going to be code work, things of that nature, but I don't know if the council wants to think about that between now and the 2nd as well. Do you actually want to consider budgeting money to have clerk support? I don't know. It should be considered.
Yeah. Can I also discuss that with the Charter Review Committee on the 29th? Okay, thank you. That's definitely something that I'll note.
For the chart, for general code, for them to get, reach out to general code to get help. Is that what they're looking for?
So last town council meeting, there was an issue with 278 Mendon Road. I copied the cells down, but the total tax amount was correct for each year. And then I added another parcel along with that one this time. So the total in abatements is $2,041.24.
Does anyone have any questions regarding the abatements? Can we just take like a 2-minute recess until Mr. DeCristofaro comes back to the table, and in case she has any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We're going to come back. So, did you have any questions regarding abatements from Ms. St. George?
No.
She just basically explained that last meeting she just kind of dragged, and that's why we had the different.
Nope, I have no questions.
Okay. Anyone else have any other questions for the abatements? Anyone like to make a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept the abatements for May 5th, 2025 in the amount of $2,041.24.
That's a motion. Is there a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. DeCristofaro.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion by council vote or other action on town council rules of order. I just wanted to bring this up at a council meeting because some of the new members might not have seen these in the past. So just wanted to go through, and if anyone had any questions or wanted to change anything of the rules that were in your packet.
But one thing that jumped out at me was, it says, "The president may modify the order of business on the agenda when necessary to save time and/or expense." There's 1,000 reasons why you might want to modify the order of business. I think we should cross out, just put, "The president may modify the order of business on the agenda," and
Yeah.
cross out "when necessary to save time and/or expense," because there could be a million reasons why you want it.
I mean, most times we just do it because if there's any public here, we try and
Exactly.
get them through, and then
Right.
unfortunately, anything that doesn't require public, we can wait till the end, so.
And I'd also make one more suggestion, that we put a little asterisk at the bottom of the agendas saying that the order of the agenda is subject to change, because we've had people complain that they came in and they didn't know, and that the agenda was changed. But if you just maybe put that in, we could say, it does say right there that, it is subject to change.
And what number was that, John?
There isn't one.
It wasn't, it was just under M where it says adjournment.
Oh, M. No, but I mean the one to change the order, which,
Right here, Kim?
right, but,
He's suggesting.
yeah, I know, but you're saying to move,
Put a
oh,
note
I
on
see
the
I
agenda.
see it, okay, I got it, never mind.
There are a couple of revisions highlighted in this already. Are
Mhm.
those in effect now? Are those up for
Yes.
discussion?
Yeah, those we
are-
changed,
Those were
right?
changes.
That was
Yeah.
already
Mhm.
changed.
Mhm. So do we have
So
to
you-
take a vote on every single one we
I
do?
would take a vote on every single one so the clerk can keep
Okay.
track, because you do have, you
Okay.
want it clean as possible.
John, do you want to put that in a motion?
Yeah, I would make a motion to, let me see the exact number here. 9M, under adjournment.
14M.
No, 14, right?
Is it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yep. 14M, under adjournment, where it says, "The president may modify the order of business on the agenda when necessary to save time and/or expense." And we just changed that to "The president may modify the order of business on the agenda."
Okay.
Okay.
Got a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. DeCristofaro.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes.
And then I'll make a second motion to add to the bottom of the agenda. It can just be in a already in a format that's there every time. You don't have to type it in every time. That the order of the agenda items is subject to change.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Is that allowable with open meetings act, so we could just move agenda items without notice?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As long as they're
Yeah.
posted.
We do that.
No,
Like
I
we were
know, I
just
just,
saying.
if we're putting it, I just wanted to
Yeah.
clarify.
I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. DeCristofaro.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Anyone else have anything else they'd like to change or add?
So just to be clear, the green and red are already taken care of.
Correct. This, I'm not really sure why this was in the packet, but normally would have been a clean one.
President, I'm just I've noticed, I don't know which, I'm looking online, and I don't know if the one online is the most up-to-date version.
Yeah, that's not the one. This is the most up-to-date, the one that we have with all the cross-outs.
Could I just see that?
But it shows the changes, and it shouldn't have been put in the packet.
Okay, the changes are made.
Yeah,
The one online is not up-to-date.
yeah, I've asked them to change, but I'll put another note in.
Are we all set, Joanne?
Yes.
All right. Item 17, I just kind of want to reword this one a little bit. It says, "The town clerk, with the assistance and approval of the president, shall prepare and cause to be printed for information of the members of the town council administration a docket on which there will be a definite statement or a summary of all ordinances, resolutions, orders, and other business to be considered at each meeting of the town council. Any member of the town council may add items to the agenda by providing timely electronic notice to the town clerk. The town clerk will The town clerk shall maintain a record of all business acted upon by the town council, and only business contained in the docket shall appear. This docket will be prepared and available by 4 p.m. on the third business day prior, which is Thursday, for a Monday meeting. Can we somehow change the wording that they are to email you, but if the president can also be made aware of what that topic is? Because a lot of times I'll ask you, like, what is it about? And you don't really know, and I don't know, and so then we're not really prepared to talk about it at the meeting. So is there something that the president and the town clerk are electronically notified?
I believe we were,
Assistance and
we
approval
did
doesn't
start
cover that?
something new
Well, a lot
with
of times
the,
she doesn't have the backup yet, so when I look at the agenda, we
Right.
both might not know what the actual item is about, because the backup comes later.
we did start a process where they were going through the town administrator with a letter, some
But
type of
that's de-
memo, so
That's
that,
department heads, that's not other town council members, so I'm just
Okay.
saying, just so when me and you go, or any other president, when you're reviewing the town council packet, you both
Okay.
know what you're reviewing, and you know what's gonna be on the packet,
Mhm.
on the agenda.
So just,
we can,
so we can,
can work with the solicitor.
everybody is still free to put what they want on the agenda, you just want more detail to understand what's going on.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just like a one-worder, and I'll be
Correct.
like, Joanne, what is this? She's like, I don't know.
Okay.
And then we don't know until it comes out, and then, it's just, yeah, just a little backup maybe, just so everyone's prepared on what to speak about.
I'll draft something up if you want, I can send it to you and,
All right, so I guess I'll make a motion, item 17, to include information and backup on an agenda item to the town clerk as well as the town council president. So that's a motion.
So, Madam
Mhm.
President, are you talking about line number,
Item 17.
on the 17th, second sentence?
No, so down towards the bottom, it says,
See where it says, any member
any
of the
member-
town council may add items to the agenda by providing timely electronic notice to the town clerk and president
yeah,
with,
backup.
I would use that language you just used a moment again.
Okay.
With, you had said a little phrase there, I would
Supporting
put it right there.
documentation.
with
Yeah.
supporting.
With supporting,
overview and supporting documentation.
So we'll change the second sentence, Joanne's, to any member of the town council may add items to the agenda by providing timely electronic notice to the town clerk as well as the council president with description and backup to the agenda item. Is that, you got that one?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's a motion.
And backup.
Can we just clarify backup? Is that like supplemental information?
Yeah, just what it would have on the agenda, like what would be
Like what
the
we're actually-
backup, yeah. So that's a motion, and second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. And then I just have one more I'd like to amend, number 26. It says, any council person who expects to be absent from a regular or special council meeting shall notify the town clerk at a minimum of 6 hours prior to meeting time. Can we add that they contact the town clerk and the town council president at a minimum of 6 hours prior to meeting time by telephone or in person, if possible?
since you're changing it, you should say by telephone, text, or email.
Yeah, telephone or, yeah. Okay,
Or just contact them, just without saying the
contact,
method.
yeah, okay. Just so if, by chance, we're not gonna have a quorum, like, it's not a surprise when we get here, okay? So that's a motion. Anyone want a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. Anyone else like to?
I don't want to change anything. I just do want to point out in item 16, new business and agenda item requests by members of the town council need to be submitted prior to 12 PM on the fourth business day prior to the meeting.
16A?
16A, yep. So, in conjunction with, sending it to the town clerk and the president, it needs to be by Wednesday at noon. Right?
Well, actually, now, I mean, do we have to review this? Because now we actually complete the agenda on Tuesdays rather than Wednesdays. So should this be something that we might want to go through and?
It's not completed by Tuesday. I'd like to have as much as I can in by Tuesday. And then I complete the rest of it Wednesday. Usually I'll reach out to you and get it done, but it's never completed by Tuesday.
Okay.
Never.
So that one still works
Yes.
for you? Okay.
Can I ask a question? If you look at number 27, it seems like that's just a holdover from some long ago town council. Any meetings, public hearings, or workshops of the council will recess no later than 10 PM unless there is a majority vote of the council to extend the time. Why do we even have that? The meeting will be over when it's over. Why do we have to have the 10 PM and then extend it like that? Why is that necessary?
I can't speak to why you're doing it, but most cities and towns do that, so everybody knows that business will end at 10 o'clock,
But it doesn't.
absent a reason.
It doesn't.
Well, that usually takes a vote, though, right? Some councils just say 10 o'clock and they
Yeah.
adjourn.
Otherwise, we could end up here
I
till
know.
like 1 o'clock. At some point, we're all gonna say, yeah, all right, we're done. Let's,
Well, we do take a vote.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, like, it seems kind of procedurally why bother, but, at some point I can see
Enough's enough.
But do we want to take out
the half hour of
half
it.
11,
Yeah.
11:30.
Seems like a pain in the ass.
Most time we do it an hour at a time, right?
Right. Or I'd say, all right, we got about an
Half
hour
hour
and a
at
half,
a
hour and a half
time.
left, so.
We could extend the time at all, just to extend the time period.
Because we never said, oh, that's
Because-
it, 10 o'clock, we're out
I
of
think
here.
you just get rid of the time parameters, the extend
Leave
the
it
time in 1 half
extended
hour
at least 3
increments and
times.
not to exceed 1 hour.
Yeah, but how many times have we
Well,
exceeded
it's
1 hour?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think you can get rid of that, you're fine. I still think it should be voted on to continue, because, some point in the future, someone's gonna have a newborn baby and they have to get home and, they don't wanna be there
Get up and
until
go
2
anytime
o'clock.
you want.
So maybe you say that
Just
the
extend the
meetings will end
time.
at 10 o'clock unless otherwise extended by the council.
All right, that's
Well,
fine, we
that's
can
already
keep it.
there.
By a majority vote.
Does that make
Right,
sense?
they can stop right there, extend the time period.
That's fine.
11:30.
May I just
Absolutely.
voice an observation in reading this through again? So John made the recommendation, 14M, to change that language. The asterisk refers to 14C, 1 and 2, for scheduled agenda items, asterisk. We're removing that, right? So the
No.
red has been removed.
No. So on M, it was just going to be adding an.
No,
adding
I
an
know, but
asterisk.
the asterisks refer to 2, to
No, right? You didn't change those, the red.
No, I know, but they're not supposed to be there. These are,
Yeah, that was done prior.
yes, but what I'm saying is,
With those
open
being
forum at the
gone,
beginning of the meeting,
asterisk is
open
gone.
forum at the end of the meeting. So the asterisks are removed because the verbiage unscheduled agenda items, scheduled agenda items is no longer going to be there. So there's no asterisk for this to refer to. So what I think we need to change,
So he's adding an asterisk.
No.
but to,
Oh.
Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, basically, we're just putting it in the, we're
No, but-
codifying the fact that the president may modify the order of business.
yeah, and I don't disagree with that, but what I'm saying is that if we're looking at the red lines, the asterisk refers to the red line. So there's not going to be an asterisk for that to refer to.
Correct.
Okay, so my thinking is that
We can make another
28,
letter.
but 28, item number 28 says, the president may adjust the order of the agenda unless an objection is raised. So it's already stated in the rules of order. So so we're going to remove that asterisk because it's already been stricken. right? So the asterisk has to be removed as well, so 28 should account for what John is saying, that the president can adjust.
Do you want the
order.
whole line removed?
Well, we don't have anything to refer to. It has to be removed unless we put an asterisk in somewhere, right? Like, does that make sense?
How about we simplify it? The easiest to me is so right now, you have open forum at beginning and open forum at the end of the meeting. Why not make this number 14 identical to the agendas that we see, and then asterisk the whole thing? It can change, right? Right now, your open forum is not at the beginning and maybe at the end before we do executive session or payment of bills. Just lay it out like our agenda is and asterisk it off.
Just make more sense just to
Just to
remove
remove
the
it.
asterisk.
We're making this way more
Just
complicated
remove
than it
the
has to be.
asterisk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we want to make the point that the agenda can change.
But it's
though.
captured in 28.
It is.
So it is
Right.
already captured in 28. So I think we just remove the asterisk and we say, the
remove
president
the
may
whole thing.
adjust the order of the agenda. It says unless an objection is made, so unless we have any objection to, unless an objection is raised, then I think that captures what the initial objective was to state that the agenda can be moved.
I can just remove that whole
That's what I'm saying,
asterisk.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna remove that asterisk,
That's why.
and it's accounted for in 28.
Just remove the asterisk and you got 28.
It was a pain in the asterisk.
But then you just wanted it notated on the agenda that it could change, so are we still gonna add that to the bottom?
But
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's.
That was a separate motion.
Yeah.
Right,
We still want to put on the bottom of the agenda that the agenda items are ordered.
that was separate motion.
just so everyone knows that when they look at the agenda.
So do I need to,
I know what
do
you're
I-
saying.
do we need to make a motion?
I don't think we do, because in
Just leave it.
theory, the
We'll
asterisk
fix
is
it.
already gone, so.
Okay.
It's back on the agenda next meeting.
No,
No,
we
I
got
got
that.
it. I
Why?
got it. I got it, David.
Why, because you don't have a copy?
He wants to read it through it, I think.
Oh, you don't have a copy?
I'll show it to David,
I
but
mean-
I know,
If you can just submit the revised copy in our next agenda, and then that way we can just review it and make sure
I'll do that.
everything. All right, is that it for everyone? Does Rebecca need to make a motion on that last one?
Sure.
So I will make a motion to remove the asterisk denoting that the president may modify the order of business on the agenda because it is referencing content that's already been removed.
Actually, you could have
Okay.
just rescinded yours.
All right, so that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Biragad,
I think so.
Mr.
Find out next
Christopherow,
week.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara,
Okay.
Mr. Punchak,
Yes.
Ms.
Say
Alves.
that again?
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
All right, any other changes? So Joanne, we can have a clean copy in the next one and just confirm it's all set. Thank you. All right.
Thought that was gonna be
The next one is open forum pursuant to 42-46-CD, maximum 3 minutes per person. Would anyone like to speak in this open forum?
Hearing none.
Anyone? No? One more time, anyone like to speak? All right. Next one is executive session, closed session, discussion by council vote or other action regarding Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A2, sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation, or work sessions pertaining to collective bargaining or litigation or potential litigation. 1, Dudley Development Corp. versus Jennifer St. George in her capacity as tax assessor for the town of North Smithfield, case number PC 2022-5064. 2, Dudley Development Corp. versus Jennifer St. George in her capacity as tax assessor for the town of North Smithfield, case number PC 2025-1305. And B, discussion by council vote or other action regarding executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5A. Any discussions or considerations related to the acquisition or lease of real property for public purposes or the disposition of publicly held property wherein advanced public information would be detrimental to the interests of the public. Land transfer and solar lease agreement regarding AP 10, Lot 2, 18-0 Matity Road. Anyone make a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Biragad.
Yes.
Mr. Christopherow.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara.
Yes.
Mr. Punchak.
Yes.
Ms. Alves.
Yes. All right, who wants to make a motion to come back?
Yeah, double.
Or reconvene?
Mother's daughter, I can.
We
do
done?
it.
Are we ready?
Yes.
I'll make a
Are we ready?
motion to come back into open session, indicate that no votes were taken during executive session, and have the the minutes sealed, please.
That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Yes.
O'Hara?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara?
Yes.
Mr. Punchak?
Yes.
Ms. Alves?
Yes. All in favor of adjourned? Meeting is adjourned. All in favor, say aye.
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 Meeting is adjourned.